Greetings all, Nick here from Those Hairy Gamers. I'm joined by Justin from Those Hairy Gamers. How are you, Justin?
Doing well.
It is time to do our full set review of Ixalan because about 3 days ago, everything got spoiled. We are very hyped for this. So, we're going to break this down into tribes. We're not doing colours like all those other fancy YouTubers. We're going to go tribe by tribe. Now, not every card in these videos is going to exactly relate to cards you should play in these tribal decks. We're just going to relate them in terms of flavour. The card art and the flavour text. How do those relate to each tribe? And after we go through all 4 tribes, we'll do one more little video for everything that didn't quite fit.
Nick's very much a standard player right now. I myself am more of a modern player.
That will colour our bias, that's for sure. We're going to start off with pirates, because it is currently International Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I don't want to talk like a pirate, but I will talk about pirates. So let's start off with the cards. We're going to go common, uncommon, rare, mythic, going alphabetically through those sets. So here we go. First of all, we have Brazen Buccaneers. Costs 3 and a red. It is a human pirate at 2/2. Has haste. When Brazen Buccaneers enters the battlefield, it explores. A good sort of French vanilla basic kind of card. It explores. That's relevant. Probably a bit pricey at 4 mana though.
Cancel. 1, 2 blue, counter target spell. It's a reprinted staple. Nice artwork.
Next we have Cobbled Wings. This is an artifact. Cost 2, it's an equipment. Equipped creature has flying, equipped for 1. It seems pretty good. Flying seems very relevant in this set. But I think ultimately, if I was building a deck, I'd just take more 2-drop flyers.
Yep.
I wouldn't bother with this.
Contract Killing. 3 and 2 black. Sorcery. Destroy target creature. Create 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens with tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Yeah, it's slow, it's expensive, but it does the relevant thing of making 2 treasure tokens, so that could be good in some decks.
Yeah, it'll be good for draft.
Next, we have Costly Plunder. Cost 1 and a black, it's an instant. At an additional cost to Costly Plunder, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards. This is a strictly better Altar's Reap, because you can also sacrifice an artifact. It's solid, gets you a card advantage. Not too costly. In black, you can always get lots of artifacts or treasure or creatures, and it's just a good solid card.
Deadeye Tormentor, 2 and a black for a 2/2. He has Raid. When Deadeye Tormentor enters the battlefield, if you attacked with the creature this turn, target opponent discards a card. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know if the raid ability is really that relevant. To be honest, I think there are better raid abilities than this. Next, we have Depths of Desire. Cost 2 and a blue. This is an instant. Return target creature card to its owner's hand and create a colorless treasure token artifact. So this is cool.
But unsummon is 1 blue.
That's right. Yeah, I know. It's the 2 extra mana for the treasure, which could be relevant. It helps you fix your mana. But I think ultimately you just want the faster version of the card.
Desperate Castaways, 1 and a black for a 2/3. Desperate Castaways can't attack unless you control an artifact. This actually isn't bad.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a decent common. I don't think it'll be great for stand or anything like that, but definitely good enough for draft.
Yeah.
Next we have Dire Fleet Hoarder. Cost 1 and a black. This is a 2/1 human pirate. When Dire Fleet Hoarder dies, create a colorless treasure token artifact. That feels really strong to me.
Yeah.
Black creatures dying are always relevant. You have sack outlets to give you upside for the dying, and you get the treasure.
Yeah.
It feels good at 2 mana. I really like that.
Dire Fleet Interloper, 3 and a black. Human pirate, 2/2 with menace. When he enters the battlefield, it explores.
Pretty much on curve.
Yeah.
Nothing special there.
Yeah.
Next we have Duress. This is a reprint. It cost a black. It's a sorcery. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land from it. That player discards his card. A good, solid card. Always good to have in your sideboard if you're playing black.
Yeah, good reprint. Nice new artwork. Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, 3 and a black for a 3/3. When he enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. That's not bad.
I don't like that you have to deal damage and then it dies afterwards. It feels like a very rare situation where that would happen. Next we have Fire Cannon Blast. Cost 1 red. Fire Cannon Blast deals 3 damage to target creature. Raid. Fire Cannon Blast deals 6 damage to target creature instead if you attacked with a creature this turn. 6 damage for 3 mana feels really good.
Yeah.
And in a pirate deck, that's going to turn on quite easily. It's a sorcery speed, so it's second main phase. Yeah, I get that. It's terrible if you're just going to use it for its base effect, but I feel like this could have some value, especially in draft.
Headstrong Brute, 2 and a red for a 3/3. Headstrong Brute can't block. Headstrong Brute has menace as long as you control a pirate.
Yeah, seems solid. Seems on curve. A 3 for a 3/3 with menace most of the time. Yeah, can't block sucks, but it's red. You don't want to block anyway. March of the Drowned. I love this. This costs black. It's a sorcery. Choose one. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or return 2 target pirates from your graveyard to your hand. This, in my opinion, is a one-of in every pirate deck. The base effect alone is pretty strong. You'll get value out of it. If you're drafting and you only get some pirates, it's still okay just for the base effect. I feel like there's a cycle of commons in this that's been really pushed. This is the black one out of all those.
Opt. 1 blue. Instant. Scry 1. Draw a card. This is now a modern staple.
Yeah, exactly. It is now printed in standard, which means it's also in modern.
Yep. And this is going into a lot of modern decks now.
It's efficient, it's fast, it's good. Pirate's Cutlass costs 3. It's an equipment. When Pirate Cutlass enters the battlefield, attach it to a target pirate. Nice and efficient. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and you equip for 2. Now, I think it's a bit slow if you happen to lose the pirate straight away. It sucks because then you've got to start equipping for 2, and I don't think it's really worth the 2. I think if you get it down, it stays on the pirate, and you get a bit of use out of it, that feels good. Yeah. It feels a bit slow if your pirate quickly gets removed, and then you have to start equipping it one by one.
Pirate's Prize. 3 and a blue. It's a sorcery. Draw 2 cards. Create a colorless treasure artifact token. That's actually not bad.
Yeah, got mana ramping. Draw 2 cards. For 4 mana, it's just good. Yeah. It's just good. We have Prosperous Pirates next. Cost 4 and a blue. It is a 3/4 human pirate. When Prosperous Pirates enters the battlefield, create 2 colorless treasured artifact tokens. That feels really good to me. 5 mana for a 3/4, but you get 2 pieces of mana that can be spent on anything.
Yeah.
Even immediately. This is the thing. What I love about Treasury is you can play this and then immediately play a 2-drop on top of it. It's almost like Kari Zev's Expertise, which immediately lets you play a 2 CMC card.
Yeah.
This does the same thing, but better because the mana stays on the table. 3/4 for 5 seems bad, but 2 treasures is very relevant for a lot of different reasons.
Prying Blade, 1 mana. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a colorless treasure artifact token. And it also has equip for 2 mana. Actually, that's not bad.
I love this in aggro pirates. Lots of menace, lots of flying. That's going to be a real problem for your opponent quickly if they can't deal with it. The ramp is pretty disgusting with that, and I like it. Next, we have Sailor of Means. Cost 2 and a blue. It is a 1/4 human pirate. When Sailor of the Mean enters the battlefield, create a colorless treasure artifact token. Cool. 1/4 for 3 mana, but then a free mana on top of it. Again, basically playing a 1-drop for free right after. That feels really good at a common. Not too pushed, but just solid.
Shipwreck Looter. 1 and a blue for a 2/1. Raid. When Shipwreck Looter enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card.
I almost feel like it could just have the loot without the raid. I feel like having to attack with the creature first is unideal. It is a pirate though, so you're going to be attacking a lot. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's just good. It's just good in my eyes. Next, we have Siren's Lookout. Costs 2 and a blue. It's a 1/2 Siren Pirate with flying. When it enters the battlefield, it explores. I really like this. As far as all the explore cards go, this feels really pushed. Basically, when you look at cards that explore immediately when they come out of the battlefield, it basically gives itself +1/+1 or draw a card, which is both sort of worth the extra mana anyway. So a 3-cost 2/3 with flying, absolutely sign me up. A 3-cost 1/2 with flying that draws land, absolutely sign me up. It feels strong. It's not the best thing you could be doing in a 3-drop with pirates, but it's great. The biggest flaw with it is a blue card that explores. The best explore support we have in this set is green and black.
Siren's Ruse. 1 and a blue. It's an instant. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If a pirate was exiled this way, draw a card. So it's a blink effect. That's not bad. And if it's a pirate, draw a card.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to play this much in a non-pirate deck. I feel like blink effects are pretty common at 1, not 2 mana. But for 1 more mana drawing a card, that's solid. Yeah. That's fair enough. It replaces itself.
Yeah, like you can replay your raid effects and things like that.
Yes,
so
you can replay raid. In a Panharmonicon deck, this is fantastic. There isn't too many flicker effects in standard at the moment, so this is good. But Panharmonicon pirates, I guess raid, enter the battlefield stuff. It could be a thing. That's another deck archetype we haven't thought about yet. Let's have a think about that later and talk about that in another video. Next we have Skullduggery. Love the name. Cost a black. It's an instant. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1, and target creature your opponent controls gets -1/-1. I love this. I was a big fan of Subtle Strike back from Kaladesh, which it cost 1 more, but the +1/+1 comes in the form of a counter, so it's permanent.
Yeah.
I think downgrading to just end of turn and getting 1 mana off makes it so much more relevant.
Yeah.
Combat tricks are always better at 1 mana than 2.
Indeed.
And I really like this. It could easily get you 2-for-1s.
Stormfleet Pyromancer. 4 and a red for a 3/2. He's a human pirate wizard. Has raid. When Stormfleet Pyromancer enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player.
I like that it can hit the player's face. I just don't think it's powerful enough.
No.
Not for 5 mana. We're doing way better things with 5 mana in the pirate deck. Next we have Sure Strike. Cost 1 and a red. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Now, we had Kindled Fire in the last set, which was +1/+0 and has first strike. This costs 1 more and boosts another 2 power. It feels like a good combat trick. I feel like we probably have better things in the set, but it'll be good and limited.
Swashbuckling. 1 and a red. It's an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has haste. Not bad for a common. +2/+2 for 2 mana. Works well, and
this won't see standard play because of Cartouche of Zeal. That's just strictly way better than this card. I don't like that you have to give a creature haste for 2 mana. It means you have to play a creature and still have 2 mana on the table to give it haste. If you don't get it down as soon as the creature comes down, haste is irrelevant. And from that point of view, I don't like this card. I just think 2 mana is not relevant enough. Next, we have Unfriendly Fire. Costs 4 red. It's an instant. It deals 4 damage to target creature or player. This will be solid in drafting and in leagues and that kind of stuff. It's just too expensive for standard or modern. But doing 4 damage straight to your opponent's face is good. It can close out games. Unfortunately, Lightning Strike also exists within this set. So from that point of view, it's just much worse than that. It's 3 more mana for 1 more damage? Not worth it.
And that was all the commons. We'll now start on the uncommons with Charter Course. 1 and a blue. Sorcery, draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attacked with a creature this turn. This is actually good. I like this card.
2 mana to draw 2 cards. In a pirate deck, it's going to be very relevant because you're basically always going to be swinging. That's what those pirates are about. Yeah, it's good. 2 mana for 2 cards. It's just solid. Next we have Dark Nourishment. Cost 4 black. Instant Dark Nourishment. Deals 3 damage to target creature or player. You gain 3 life. I like that it's an instant. We've had sorcery versions of this that were cheaper in the past. It's not good enough for standard. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very helpful in sealed. The fact that you can hit a creature or player and you gain 3 life, it's going to be very relevant in a lot of decks.
Deadeye Plunderers. 3, a blue and a black human pirate as a 3/3. Deadeye Plunderer gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. 2, a blue and a black. Create a colorless treasure artifact. Is good in an artifact deck.
It's really good in an artifact deck. If you're doing a build around like Revel in Riches, which we'll see in a bit, that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
It's jockeying for position with the Scarab God, because the activated ability and the card cost is about the same.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be relevant in all Scarab God decks and vice versa.
I'm thinking more of him with Tezzeret.
Oh, yeah. Turn the artifacts into creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do a treasure deck with Tezzeret, turn them into creatures, never spend them, and win with Revel in Riches. Next, we have Deadeye Quartermaster. Costs 3 and a blue. Is a 2/2 human pirate. When Deadeye Quartermaster enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment or vehicle card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Very relevant in some decks. Obviously a 2/2 for 4 is terrible, but if you have a very relevant equipment or vehicle, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, we know from what we've seen that pretty much all the Ixalan vehicles are terrible. They've really nerfed them, which is a good thing because they were just too powerful in Kaladesh. Everyone sort of can accept that.
Yeah,
But this can search out a Kaladesh vehicle.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very relevant and standard for that reason.
Dire Fleet Captain, a black and a red for a 2/2. He is an orc pirate. Whenever he attacks, he gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other attacking pirate.
2 for a 2/2 that boosts with every other attacking pirate. This is just going to get out of hand very quick.
Yeah.
It's just a really, really good card. It could be rare, in my opinion. I feel like it's splashy enough to be rare. It's uncommon. I'm not going to complain. It's a 4 in my pirate deck. Absolutely. Next, we have Elaborate Fire Cannon. It costs 2. It's an artifact. It doesn't untap during your untap step, and for 4 and tap it, it does 2 damage to target creature or player. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard a card. If you do, untap Elaborate Fire Cannon. I feel like it's too slow, but however, having pinging effects like that is always relevant. The ability to do it over and over again. The clincher for me, the reason I don't like this is because discarding your cards just doesn't feel worth it in this format.
Yeah.
We don't have Madness in the format anymore. All the Innistrad stuff cycling out, so discarding's not going to help you anymore.
And then, then also paying 4 mana and tapping this as well. It's too much.
Too slow. It's too slow.
Fiery Cannonade. 2 and a red. It's an instant. It deals 2 damage to each non-pirate creature. This is good. This is a Pyroclasm.
It's an instant speed board sweep just for your opponent's side.
Yeah.
That alone makes it relevant. It costs 3 mana. I don't care. Pretty solid. Next, we have Grim Captain's Call. Now, this is actually relevant to all the tribes, but as it's a pirate doing the magic, I thought, yeah, let's put it in the pirate video. Costs 2 and a black. It's a sorcery. Return pirate card from your graveyard to your hand, then do the same for Vampire, Dinosaur, and Merfolk. If you have the weirdest, splashiest draft deck, this is going to be great. If not, this is going to be terrible. The problem is we already have a really good graveyard pulling creatures out of quote-unquote card in March of the Drowned, and that's just way more playable than this, even in a non-pirate deck. And that's my whole thing. You have to really splash here and there in all the different tribes to make this work.
Heartless Pillage, 2 and a black. Sorcery. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Raid. If you attacked with a creature this turn, create a colorless treasure artifact token. That's good. The only problem I can see with it is that they get to choose the 2 cards, but...
That's alright. 3 mana for 2 cards is solid as it is. The way I see it is it's 2 mana for 2 cards, and the 1 more mana is going into mana fixing.
Yeah.
Spending 1 mana for a treasure token is good every single time because it fixes. You can immediately spend it to get other value. This card feels really good. Next, we have Kite Sail Freebooter for 1 and a black. This is a 1/2 human pirate with flying. When Kite Sail Freebooter enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it, exile that card until Kite Sail Freebooter leaves the battlefield. This is fantastic.
Yes.
This is probably one of the best uncommons in the set. It's an Angel of Sanctions for 2 mana. It just pulls something out. Yeah, it can't be a creature. That sucks. It's not something already on the board. But you're pulling something out of your opponent's hand. In an aggro pirate deck, you want to get rid of removal. If they have Fatal Pushes, if they have burn spells, get rid of it. And suddenly your pirates are in much better standing.
Lightning Rig Crew, 2 and a red for a Goblin Pirate who's a 0/5. Tap Lightning Rig Crew deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast a pirate spell, untap Lightning Rig Crew. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Play a lot of low-cost pirates and untap and just keep pinging with it.
Pretty much.
And then you can just use this for blocks for the rest of it.
As far as 3-drops goes for the pirates, this could be the best one. Next, we have Lightning Strike. This is a reprint. Cost 1 and a red. It deals 3 damage to target creature or player at instant speed. Really good.
Yep.
It's a Lightning Bolt that costs 1 more mana, and the fact of the matter is Lightning Bolt at 2 mana is still amazing.
Yeah.
It does not matter that it costs twice as much. It's still a great card.
Yeah. No, this is very standard playable. This is a standard staple. Lookouts Dispersal, 2 and a blue. It's an instant. Lookouts Dispersal costs 1 less to cast if you control a pirate. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 4. This is arguably a better mana leak to a certain extent.
I'm just going to say it. It's a better mana leak.
Provided you play pirates.
Yeah, in a pirate deck, this is just a better mana leak. Next, we have Makeshift Munitions. Costs 1 and a red. It's an enchantment. It has the activated ability 1 and sacrifice an artifact or creature. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. I'm on the fence. It could be breakable. The fact that it cost 1 mana to use the activated ability, that's the clincher for me. That makes me think it's probably not going to be great.
Yeah.
If it was just sack something to deal 1 damage, Fantastic. Do a big swing and just sack game.
Yeah, no, that's too broken. You need to have the 1 mana.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a good late game finisher, basically. You swing with everything and then...
Just use up all your resources just to ping their face for like 4 or 5 or 6 and just win.
Marauding Looter, 2, a blue and a red, a human pirate, that's a 4/3. Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked with a creature... This turn, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card.
You get continued use out of this, and that's where I think the value is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's a 4 mana 4/3 with 2 different mana symbols. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. And also, it's a 4-drop. The pirate deck is going to have a lot of really good 4-drops.
Yeah,
I don't like this enough.
There's just not enough going for it.
Next up, we have Navigator's Ruin. Cost 2 and a blue. It's an enchantment. Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked with a creature this turn... Target opponent puts the top 4 cards of his or her library in the graveyard. Now, it's interesting because it's sort of crossing over 2 different strategies here. Sort of the aggro pirates, I want to always attack strategy, and the mill strategy. Fantastic with Fraying Sanity. But Fraying Sanity doesn't want to go in the aggro pirates deck.
Well,
and that's my issue with this.
I mean, you don't have to be aggro, you just have to swing with a creature.
I guess if you have a nice controlling deck with flying creatures, maybe you could make this efficient enough. Yeah. I just feel like there are better options for Fraying Sanity. There's a few okay things. This is probably one of the better things. And that is not a good sign for the mill deck right now.
Perilous Voyage. 1 and a blue, instant, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. If its converted mana cost was 2 or less, scry 2. This is actually kind of cool. Yeah.
I mean, the basic effect for 2 mana is good. Yeah. It's counterintuitive because you want to bounce things with bigger mana costs. So I guess the argument there, it's versatile because there's a good reason to do things at low mana cost. It's hedging your bets.
Yeah.
Next we have Raider's Wake. Costs 3 and a black. It's an enchantment. When an opponent discards a card, that player loses 2 life. Raid. At the beginning of an end step, if you attack with a creature this turn, target opponent discards a card. 1 was spared to tell the gruesome tale. I love this. This is good. This is flavorful. I don't know how well it's going to be in the Ixalan tribe decks. I think there are a lot of good cards from the previous blocks, like Herald of Anguish, that attacks your opponent's hand really efficiently. And that's going to be really painful with this.
Rigging Runner. It's 1 red mana for a 1/1 Goblin Pirate with first strike. Oh, Raid. Rigging Runner enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you attacked with a creature this turn.
I'm not so sure, because it's a 1-drop. You want it to come down on turn 1. Don't get the raid effect if it comes down on turn 1.
Yeah, but if it's turn 2 or turn 3, you're coming in with a 1 mana 2/2 with first strike.
That's right. I think in a very 1-drop heavy deck, this will be fantastic. Yeah. Because you'll have other options, and you'll save it for later, and you'll be happy you did. Next, we have Ruthless Knave. Costs 2 and a black. It's an Orc Pirate with 3/2. It has the activated ability for 2 and a black, sack a creature, create 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens, and sacrifice 3 treasures to draw a card. Yeah, I like that he has an activated ability that creates 2 treasures. That becomes very relevant in a lot of decks.
Oh, yeah.
The mana fixing alone is fantastic. Sacrifice a creature. It's black. Who cares? You can do that. Yeah. It's not going to hurt you too much. Sack 3 treasures to draw a card feels really desperate. I don't think there's going to be too many situations where you want to do that. However, if you're mana flooded with no cards in your hand, you want to do that. Yeah, it's just an all-round balanced card.
Sleek Schooner. 3 mana. It's a vehicle with crew 1 for a 4/3.
Aethersphere Harvester exists, and that's my response to that.
Yeah.
Aethersphere Harvester is just better than this, so why would you play it? This is for draft.
Yeah.
That's just what it's all about. I will say, though, as a bit of an aside, we are Australians, and when we think schooner, we think a certain quantity of beer.
Yeah.
That is a kind of glass you can get beer in Australia. And to see a sleek schooner in a Magic card is very bizarre to us. The next one is Stormfleet Aerialist. Costs 1 and a blue. It is a 1/2 human pirate with flying. Raid. Stormfleet Aerialist enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you attacked with a creature this turn. Now, I think this is strictly better than the Rigging Runner. Because it's a 2-drop, you're much more easily going to get that raid ability triggering.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like this. Very consistently a 2/3 with flying. Oh, yes. That's very good.
Stormfleet Spy, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 human pirate. Raid. When Stormfleet Spy enters the battlefield, if you're attacked with a creature this turn, draw a card.
Yeah, it's overcurved by 1 mana, but the 1 mana could draw you a card, which feels worth it.
Yeah.
Replacing itself. It's only a 2/2 body, so in a deck that wants to attack a lot, a 2/2 body on the ground, it's not helping itself out. And that's the issue I have with this card. Next we have Stormfleet Arsonist. This is a 4/4 Orc Pirate with Raid. When Stormfleet Arsonist enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature, target opponent sacrifices a permanent. Very good effect. I just feel like at 5 mana, the pirate deck's doing better than that.
It's too late game.
Yeah.
Sacrificing a permanent is strong, it's very powerful, but there's just...
But at that late stage of the game, they're going to have a lot of permanents, one of which they're not going to care too much about. Not good enough.
Trove of Temptation, 3 and a red. It's an enchantment. Each opponent must attack you or a planeswalker you control with at least 1 creature each combat if able. At beginning of your end step, create a colorless treasure artifact. Interesting. So it's forcing them to attack you with a creature each turn, and you're getting a treasure artifact each turn. So it's good ramp.
I feel like this is 2 upsides if played right. And for that reason, this could be an amazing sideboard card. There are plenty of decks that you play against where they don't want to attack every turn. That actually works out really badly for them. Now, it sucks if you're red, which this is a red card, but my point is you don't always have the best blockers if you're red. But if you're playing against white, that's really going to hurt them. Walk the plank for 2 black. It's a sorcery. Destroy target non-merfolk creature. The flavor is all there. This is good removal. Yeah, it's just really good removal. It's what the set needs. A lot of really good removal cycling out in standard, so it's going to be standard playable. Do you sideboard it because of the non-merfolk thing? I don't think so. I think you keep it in the main deck and you sideboard it out when you've played merfolk. Yeah. They're just not going to be common enough to be an issue. So,
No, this reminds me very much of Victim of the Night, which was a old Innistrad card, which was destroy target non-vampire, non-werewolf, non-zombie card.
Yeah.
And this is just a better version.
Which is really bad in Innistrad.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really good in Ixalan. Because Merfolk is the least supported tribe in the set.
Wanted Scoundrels. 1 and a black for a 4/3 human pirate. When Wanted Scoundrels dies, target opponent creates 2 colorless treasure tokens. It's good, but there's the downside. And
it's a massive downside. This is easily the most contentious card in the set.
Yeah.
Like, people are arguing left, right, and centre over whether or not this is good. I will say that I'm thinking about it simply to sideboard in against blue, because blue won't be able to kill it.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that a lot. Then it's a 4/3 with no downside. I will say, though, we just came from a block with Blood Rage Brawler, which was a 4/3 for 2 with such a minor downside, which was even sometimes an upside in some decks.
Yeah.
And this feels like just a much worse version of that. Giving your opponent 2 treasure sucks. That is a lot of ramp you've just given your opponent. And that, against any competent deck, that's going to hurt you way too much to make this usable. Next, we have Wily Goblin. This costs 2 red. It is a 1/1 Goblin Pirate, and when it enters the battlefield, make a treasure. I don't like that it costs 2 red. That really hurts it, in my opinion, but the colour fixing's great. This is not going to be great in a pirate deck. It's going to be good in a mono red deck. It's going to give you some decent ramp. I was just hoping it'd be like a 1/2, and it cost a generic and a red. That'd make it completely playable in pirate decks. It would be very usable. The ramp is very relevant. You can play this and then immediately play a 1-drop afterwards. But it's a 1/1 body.
So let's move on to the rares. Ungrath's Marauders, 5 and 2 red for a 4/4. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. It's a Furnace of Wrath on a creature, but it's a 7-drop.
For 4/4,
Yeah.
Next we have Arcane Adaptation, costs 2 and a blue. It's an enchantment. As Arcane Adaptation enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. It's a global tribalization card of some sort.
Yeah.
The reason I put that in this video, by the way, is because it's a pirate wearing an amulet that is giving him merfolk powers. I love that. I like his eyes turn blue so he looks like a merfolk. It's flavorful. I love it. This is going to be a card that's going to have disgusting combos. I don't know how good it is in the Ixalan tribes, but with Crested Sunmare, it's going to be borderline broken. Yeah. Because all your creatures become horses, and then they're all indestructible.
Captain Lannery Storm, 2 and a red for a 2/2 with haste. This is a legendary human pirate. Whenever Captain Lannery attacks, create a treasure artifact. Whenever you sacrifice a treasure, Captain Lannery gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
I'm not sure how to feel about this. I'm looking at building my own pirate deck with Kari Zev or this. I feel like they're sort of sitting around the same place. I mean, a 3-drop with haste is comparable to a 2-drop. That's why I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Kari Zev has menace, which is very relevant, but this has very fast pumping. Wait till she can't be blocked, swing, sacrifice like 5 treasures, make her 7 power, GG.
GG, get wrecked.
Next we have Captivating Crew. He costs 3 and a red. This is a 4/3 human pirate with the activated ability for 3 and a red again. Gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it, gains haste. And activate this only as a sorcery. Yeah, this is still a creature on a stick.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's expensive, it's slow, but the effect is worth it. It's a 4-drop, and you need to then pay 4 mana again to get that ability working. It's good that it's only as a sorcery. If it wasn't, you'd be blocking with their creatures and they'd be broken.
Yep.
I feel like that effect is really powerful, but they've balanced it.
Daring Saboteur, 1 and a blue for a 2/1 human pirate. 2 and a blue, Daring Saboteur can't be blocked this turn. Whenever Daring Saboteur deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, and if you do, discard a card.
I'm so on the fence with this card. I just can't decide what to think of this.
Yeah.
There are decks where it's relevant, making sure you hit the opponent, and it's also relevant in itself because it loots whenever it hits the player. I just don't know. Next we have Deadeye Tracker, cost 1 black. It is a 1/1 human pirate with the activated ability, 1 black and tap. Exile 2 cards from an opponent's graveyard. Deadeye Tracker explores. Now, the issue with this is, if you don't have legal targets, you can't use the ability. Which sucks. I'd love to be able to just explore over and over again at will. Having said that, nuking 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard is very relevant. It's a very relevant standard. Godpharaoh's Gifts floating around a lot.
Yeah, no,
Scarab Gods, yeah.
This is cool.
I wish I didn't have to elect... I wish it said up to. If it was up to, this would be amazing in my eyes, because then you could just explore at will.
Dream Caller Siren, 2 and 2 blue for a 3/3 Siren Pirate. This has flash and flying, and Dream Caller Siren can only block creatures with flying. But whenever Dream Caller Siren enters the battlefield, if you control another pirate, tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. I like it.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, this is blue aggro.
This is replacing Niblis of Frost in the standard meta. And Niblis of Frost has Paralysis instead of Flash. Cool. I'll take either of those things. I don't mind. And Niblis of Frost taps down a creature and doesn't untap during the next turn every time an instant sorcery comes out. So this is worse because you're probably going to get less use out of it, but it's faster. And with Flash, that's really good.
Yeah.
I feel like these 2 cards are on par with each other, but this is more relevant with pirates. Next up, we have Fathom Fleet Captain, cost 1 and a black. It is a 2/1 human pirate with menace. Whenever Fathom Fleet Captain attacks, if you control another non-token pirate, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 2/2 black pirate creature token with menace. I love it. I love it a lot.
That's cool.
Hitting your opponent's face with pirates is so important with a lot of these strategies. So having the relevant keyword menace is fantastic.
Yeah.
Making more menace pirates is equally fantastic.
Fell Flagship, 3 mana for a 3/3 artifact vehicle. Pirates you control get +1/+0. Whenever Fell Flagship deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and it has crew 3. I think it's a bit too much crew. Yeah. However, at the same time, you are adding a +1.
This, to me, feels like the correct direction to take Ixalan vehicles in. They're less powerful, we can accept that. But this lords your pirates, and it loots when it hits. It's giving you very non-vehicle kind of abilities, and I really like them. Probably not powerful enough. 3 and cruise for 3 for a 3/3. Nah, it's just not there in my eyes, but it's the right direction to take vehicles in. Next, we have Hostage Taker. This is another 4-drop. It costs 2, a blue and a black. It's a 2/3 human pirate. When Hostage Taker enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature until Hostage Taker leaves the battlefield. Now, before I go on, this has already been errated. It must be another target artifact or creature. It can't do it to itself. It can't infinitely enter the battlefield. That would be broken. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. So it's kind of like a Gonti, but you're targeting anything already on the battlefield. Gonti is good because you can steal something your opponent was about to play, and that is potentially better. But this is good because it has inbuilt removal right off the bat.
Yeah.
Very good for pirates. You play this, you've removed a very annoying blocker, and then you swing with your pirates. I feel like there's a bit of a steal your stuff strategy coming up with pirates.
But funny that. Pirates, stealing things.
And I feel like those cards comboed with Arcane Adaptation, you steal all your opponent's stuff, make them all pirates, swing with them, they're pirates. Pirates are relevant. But I think in the generic aggro pirate deck, this is being beaten out by Admiral Beckett Brass and Dreamcaller Siren.
Repeating Barrage. 1 a red and a red for a sorcery. Repeating Barrage deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Raid. 3 and 2 red. Return Repeating Barrage from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if you were attacked with a creature this turn. It's kind of like a reprint of Hammer of Bogarden, but it costs a bit more. I think it's okay.
It's going to help you win those slow grindy matches.
Yeah.
Look, in most standard red decks, this is not going to be playable simply because 8 mana to turn around that 3 damage again is not good enough. It's not fast enough. But in draft, next we have Revel in Riches. Ooh, this is nice and splashy. I like this card. Costs 4 black. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. Now, that's very hard to do. When this was first spoiled, we thought, okay, how easy a treasure is going to be to make? And we know now that it's not going to be easy to get to 10. That's going to need a workaround. You're going to need ways of getting lots of treasure to get this alternate win condition. But alternate win conditions are never something to turn your nose up at.
Yeah.
If you build around this card and you get yourself to 10 treasure, you're having a good time. Yeah, it sucks that your treasure is not spendable because you want to keep it to try and get the alternate win condition. But it's good.
Ruin Raider, 2 and a black for a 3/2 Orc Pirate. Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked with a creature this turn, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to that card's converted mana cost.
This is, along with the Picking Goblins, this is like the 3-drop I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I think a lot of low-to-the-ground Pirate Aragorn decks are going to be great with this because you're just not going to lose that much life.
No.
And the card advantage, and if you draw a land, perfect. That's all the value you want because you're losing no life and drawing a land.
Well, this is basically a different look at Dark Confident. Dark Confident is 1 and a black for a 2/1.
Yep.
And at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and basically the end bit.
This is Shadowed Caravel. Now, I wasn't sure if this was a pirate or vampire ship, but I just chucked it in the pirate video anyway. Costs 2 mana. It's a vehicle. When a creature you control explores, put a +1/+1 counter on Shadowed Caravel. Cruise for 2 and is a 2/2. Now, the Explore deck is shaping up quite nicely. It's always going to be a crew for 2 though, and I feel like it might not build fast enough to be relevant.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get trample unless you have some kind of trick that does that, and you can be chump blocked too easily. I feel like it's probably just a bit too slow for how powerful it's going to be, but I do want to wait and see.
Sorceress Spyglass, 2 mana artifact. As Sorceress Spyglass enters the battlefield, look at an opponent's hand and then choose any card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. 1 extra mana cost Pithing Needle, kind of.
And you look at your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 1 mana worth it? Yes, it is.
Okay, I think definitely standard. In modern, I think the predictability factor comes in, and Pithing Needle at 1 less mana may be more relevant. Because it's like, oh, you're playing that. Cool. Pithing Needle, the card. I know combos with that. Next, we have Spell Swindle. Costs 3 and 2 blue. It's an instant. Counter target spell. Create X colorless treasure artifact tokens where X is that spell's converted mana cost. Whoa, that's a bomb counter.
Yeah.
That's a real big bomb counter. Could this be the card that pushes Revel in Riches over the edge? It cost 5, just like Revel in Riches, which is awkward.
Yeah.
but I like it. I like it. Against
Yeah,
dinosaurs!
you counter their dinosaur.
You counter their 8-cost dinosaur, create 8 treasure tokens.
Yeah, and then you just sit there going, I just need 2 more. Just need 2 more.
And I love it. It's a great answer to ramp. Dinosaurs cost 1 less to cast. Dinosaurs cost 1 less to cast. I tap to cast dinosaurs. Their converted mana cost is still high.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. And for that reason, this is a sideboard card if you have a tempo deck and you're playing dinosaurs.
Thaumatic Compass. 2 mana artifact, 3 in a tap. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, transform this into Spires of Arazka. It's a land, it taps for 1 colorless, and it also taps to untap target attacking creature from an opponent's control and remove it from combat. So, the first bit is searching your deck for land. Handy.
Yeah, it makes your deck more efficient.
Yep.
Bit pricey at 3, but got nothing else to do. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. And then to flip it over, it becomes a better version of Maze of Ith.
The difference is you have to get to it first.
Yes.
You don't just get it right off the bat.
Mm.
It helps with ramping as well, but ramping is irrelevant when you already have 7 lands. That's the only thing I don't like about this.
The thing I look at this and go, this is a card that will go in nearly every single commander deck.
Next we have Treasure Map. I love the flavour of this. This costs 2 mana. It's an artifact, and for 1 and tap, scry 1, put a landmark counter on Treasure Map. Then, if there are 3 or more landmark counters on it, remove these counters, transform a Treasure Map, and create 3 colourless treasure artifact tokens. It transforms into Treasure Cove, taps for 1 generic mana, and tap and sacrifice a treasure to draw a card. I like this a lot. I really like this a lot. The 2 cost and then only paying 1 to scry a card is good. It's really good. It's efficient. It's so efficient. And the 3rd time you do it, you get 3 treasures.
Yeah.
So what happens is you've made your deck more efficient. You've loaded up your hand well, and then you've ramped into 3 treasures, and you have the good cards to play. You have the mana and you have the cards.
Yep. Well, and not only that, you can then sacrifice the treasures to draw more cards.
That's right. If the treasures aren't relevant, you have another outlet for them. I really like that. I really like having the option to do that, because if you're flooded out, draw cards instead.
We now have Vance's Blasting Cannons. That sounds cool.
It looks cool too.
Yeah. It's 3 in a red. It is a legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast that card this turn. Whenever you cast your 3rd spell in a turn, you may transform Vance's Blasting Cannons into Fire Bastion. It's a legendary land. It taps to add 1 red mana to your mana pool, and 2 in a red, and tap it. It deals 3 damage to target creature or player.
You don't like it? Dude, I love this. I love this.
It's okay.
I love the enchantment to begin with.
Yeah.
I think the fact that you can get all these burn spells out and just fling it at your opponent's face, it's going to be so relevant in red. And then to have a burn spell on a stick on one of your lands is good. If you run out of burn spells, you still have this. And you're still doing 3 damage to target creature or player. Next we have Vraska's Contempt for 2 and 2 black. It's an instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker and you gain 2 life. I don't like that it costs 4 mana, and I don't care about 2 life. I just don't care about 2 life. That's my whole thing. Never to return, costs 3, but never as a sorcery, I believe.
Yes.
So 4 mana to kill a planeswalker instant speed could be fantastic. How relevant are planeswalkers in this set going to be? Yeah, Jace is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a good answer to Jace at rare. I don't know. It's good removal. It's instant speed removal. Don't ever poo-poo that.
Yeah.
I just feel like at rare, it could be doing more.
Well, it's still going to get rid of the gods as well, so that's something. And finally, with the mythics, we have Admiral Beckett Brass. 1, a blue, a black, and a red for a legendary human pirate that is a 3/3. Other pirates you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by a player who has dealt combat damage by 3 or more pirates this turn.
I really like this.
Yeah.
This is a deck. This is a card you build decks around.
Yep.
And this is my whole thing with aggro pirates. Low to the ground, flying, menace, swinging, hitting, and taking your stuff. And the fact of the matter is, people sort of look at that and go, oh, but it won't activate all the time. The risk of it activating is enough to change your opponent's behaviour. And that is powerful. Next we have Boneyard Parlay, cost 5 and 2 black. It's a sorcery. Exile up to 5 target creature cards from graveyards. Not just yours, your opponent's as well. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put all cards from the pile of your choice onto the battlefield under your control, and the rest into their owner's graveyard. Woo! I like this. This is a bomb reanimation. Yeah. It costs 7. Is it doing enough at the 7 slot? I don't know. If you're playing pirates and you're playing against dinosaurs, I love this. I would just take 1 dinosaur out of their graveyard and I go like, well, I'm taking it. Separate into 2 piles. I choose the pile with the dinosaur. You can just do 1. Yeah. That's the nasty thing. I don't know why you would do that, but the fact of the matter is, you're always getting at least one of the cards you really wanted.
Okay, we also have Dire Fleet Ravager, 3 and 2 black for a 4/4 Orc Pirate Wizard with Menace and Death Touch. When Dire Fleet Ravager enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of his or her life, rounded up. Oh,
yeah, this is nasty. That's pretty much my reaction to when I first saw it.
Yeah.
If you're playing aggro, you're winning the race. And this is just going to make you win even faster.
Yeah, Menace and Death Touch.
4 for 5. I know.
Yeah.
It's just good. There's pretty much no downside to this.
No. I suppose the only downside is that, you're killing yourself as well.
If you're losing.
Yeah.
But even if you're losing, this can still win you a game. This can still turn it down. Say, your opponent's on 15, you're on 10. You lose, rounded up, would be 4 life.
Yeah.
They lose 5 life. You're on 6, they're on 10. Is it still a bad thing playing this card? I don't think it is. I still think it's worth playing. Because I still think it can turn your game around.
Yeah.
If they're trying to bear down on you, you've got something with Death Touch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going for this card.
Yeah, he's good on attack, he's good at defense, and yeah.
I see this card in a draft packet, I'm first picking it every time. Next we have Rowdy Crew. This costs 2 and 2 red. It's a 3/3 human pirate with trample. When Rowdy Crew enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards at random. If 2 cards that share a card type are discarded this way, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Rowdy Crew. I'm just going to say it right now. This is not good enough to be a mythic. This could be an average rare or a great uncommon. It's not a mythic.
No.
I get it. It's splashy. You're doing the whole super loot from your pirates. I get it. I get why it's flavorfully mythic. It's not good enough to be mythic, though.
No, if you have 2 lands in your hand that you can't put down, there's a chance that you could lose one of those lands.
Or both.